Hello traders, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll be sharing with you a simple secret entry strategy that you only need this strategy this year, guys, to be able to catch sniper entries and make money from trading. Guys, this is a way of entering where we simply focus on liquidity and other simple smart money concepts, right? So liquidity is what actually moves price, and if you can understand this simple aspect, that after liquidity has been cleared like this, you just identify your key level, which is usually a little bit around the zone, and then you take your trade based on that. Guys, you realize that you'll be able to catch very good moves from the market just by understanding this simple concept, guys. This will be sniper entry technique that I'm sharing with you guys, in which I will explain to you step by step on how to benefit from this particular strategy. So this is a trade that I've only given a call on it earlier this morning, and we have had our TP hit already and price is still moving, guys. This is a complete strategy. I want you to pay attention till the end, because this is going to bring a transformation in your trading. So make sure you subscribe to this channel if this is your first time by hitting on the subscribe button and notification bell. See you after the intro. Okay traders, welcome to my channel. I am Full Kingsley. By the grace of God, I bring to you guys strategies, tutorials on the forex market, volatility indices, metals like gold, Nasdaq, VIX75, many other instruments. You want to subscribe to the channel by hitting on the subscribe button and notification bell to not miss out. Liquidity is the most important aspect of trading, because liquidity is what moves price, right? Before price can move from one zone to another, there always has to be a liquidity that has been cleared for that to move. And if you understand this simple aspect and entry technique, you'll be able to catch very good trading setups by just understanding this aspect, guys. I want you to pay attention and not miss it. Now, liquidity here could be in the form of what? The volume injected into the market that usually cause price to move. Now, liquidity can be in the form of stop losses. Any zone where traders have their stop losses, those zones are usually referred to as liquidity zones. We have zones which could be maybe support and resistance levels, right? I've explained this in my previous video. Support and resistance level, where you usually see traders place their stop losses above or below these particular zones. And now you see that once you see that a zone is a support or resistance zone, you see that above this zone, if this is a resistance zone, we have liquidity line above here, you have liquidity line below here, right? So you basically see something like this. So when you see that price is consolidating within the zone, we see that you find support and resistance within a particular area. Above this zone should be a liquidity zone, because the banks expect that as price comes up here, most people who sold their stop losses should be here, and this zone here, when price clears this liquidity, will usually move down, and sometimes price will come down below here. Price would like to move to these liquidity zones before actually having the real move, guys, and this is one we want to be basing our strategy on. And there are situations where price liquidity can be formed below equal lows, like maybe price create a high, it creates a low, it creates a high, right? Structural levels. So liquidity could be formed, because at this point in time, many traders are going to be looking at this area to be entering. Sometimes price could come back in these traders like this, because their stop loss will probably be here. Maybe they'll be entering based on other block. When you stop them out, the real moves happens, right? This is structural liquidity, right? This can happen in the market, and sometimes it could be in form of trend line zones, where areas where traders are expecting that, okay, since maybe this is a rising trend line, they could be taking their entries here. As price comes back, price will always like to come to liquidity zones, clear the stop losses of traders here, because for someone to be buying, there has to be enough liquidity. These stop losses will enable price to move up powerfully. So we want to be taking our entries based on this particular aspect, right? We want to be taking our entries based on when liquidity have been taken before we can be entering our trades, guys. That is why we're able to give a free signal this morning that was basically just based on this particular theory, on our free Telegram channel, right? It was based on this liquidity that we gave the signal. That's what I'm breaking down to you guys. So if you want to also join our Telegram channel, it is free. Just click on this video description, and or in the pinned comment, you're going to see a link where you can join our channel for free, right? So this is it here. You can see we have many concepts like this, but now based on what we are explaining, right, Now we have a way in which we want to be entering based on the trend of the market. Now this is the strategy itself. So if you see price, for instance, in a downtrending market, right, we usually see price creating series of lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs. Now if you see that price comes and you see maybe something, a build up around a zone like this, right, what do we expect? We expect that, okay, because of this build up here, we will probably have liquidity above that zone there, right? We will want to be entering when price has cleared this liquidity, because after an impulsive move there is a pullback, impulsive pullback, impulsive pullback. So we want to take the next pullback, but now for price to go, sometimes price will need to clear liquidity so that, you know, there should be enough liquidity to push price downward. So we want to enter after this liquidity have been cleared, right? So what do we do here? We wait for this liquidity to be cleared before we take our trade. Sometimes we wait for other confirmation. We could just enter aggressively, or we wait for price to give us our change of character in smaller time frame. Now what happened? We will explain. This is a typical entry technique that I'm sharing with you guys. Sometimes we wait for price to come up and clear this liquidity, right? When it clears this liquidity, we go to a smaller time frame, wait for what price to come back to and retest this zone, and then you usually see a drop. Now when it comes back here, we will usually see what we call a change of character, because at this point in time, what happened? We had a change in character, because it shifted temporarily from that smaller time frame. It shifted from a downtrend, or from an uptrend to a downtrend, or breaking below the structure. That's what we want to consider maybe before taking our trades. So just calm down. I'm going to explain earlier. I'm going to explain it detailedly. I know many of you might not, or some of you might not understand. I'm going to chat and I'll explain exactly what happened, right? So this is the concept that we are explaining here. Now let me go to our chart and then we just have this explained. Okay, if you look at this chart here, you are going to see that, okay, this is US dollar Japanese yen. Now let's go to a bigger time frame. This is actually the call that we gave this morning, right? Now let's look at the H1 time frame. Now if you look at the H1 time frame, you will see that clearly we have a downtrending market, right? You see a downtrending market, you are going to see that, okay, price is creating lows and highs. But when price got to this level here, you can see that this is the level that created this low, right? So at this point we mark out the level. This is the level that created this low. Okay, when price creates this low, right, the high, we call this the higher low, or let's say the lower high that created this lower low here. So at this point in time, many traders are going to be entering when price pull back to this level, right? Let me go to a smaller time frame, maybe like the 15 minutes, so that you see what I'm saying. Now this is what will usually happen here. Based on what I've explained earlier, you see many concepts, you see many examples. You see that we have equal highs. You see, this is a rejection zone, and there are some people who identify these whole zones here as rejection, right? So when they identify those whole zones there as rejection zone, many people are going to be seeing all of these things to be maybe a resistance. Most traders are going to be selling maybe earlier on, right? Now let's just replay again a little bit so that you see. Okay, if you look at it very well now, you could see that, okay, this is what happened. Many people see this to be a beautiful resistance level. Guys, you should not be selling. Take this from me today. Never be selling at a zone where we have equal highs like this, no matter what, if it's a demand or support, because at this point we have liquidity here, and liquidity that's above this zone is supposed to be cleared before we can have momentum to the downside, right? So what will usually happen now is these people, they are going to move price up here, clear the liquidity that's above here. Then when it comes down and change character, you usually form a pattern like this, and then you see that price will usually move, right? So what we want to do now is we wait for that liquidity to be cleared completely, right? Liquidity have been cleared there, right? This is a little bit fast. I want to explain this step by step so that you guys can understand everything about it. So once we see that this long wick has cleared liquidity, what happens? We can go now to a smaller time frame, like the 1 minute. For instance, we are on the 15 minutes. You can go to the 1 minute. If you're in the H4, you can go to the 15 minutes, right? So at this point in time, we want to expect that price should come down, okay, and close below the zone. Okay, when price close below this zone, it proves to us now that, okay, this was just a liquidity clear, that all the stop losses they have been stopped, right? You could be aggressive by just taking yourself there and maybe having a target, but now you can wait for price to change character. This is a change of character, because at this point we call this change of character because if you notice, you see that price was creating higher highs and higher lows,
higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. But when price comes back and breaks below this previous low, create another low, right? It means we call a change of character, meaning that there is a shift in the trend, right? So what we want to do now, we want to wait for price to pull back and then for us to be shorting, because we confirm that this is liquidity, and then we also confirm that it has been a shift in the trend of the market. Okay, so that is what we want to be considering. Now what happened here, what we want to do now is we want to mark out our demand zone, or our order block, right? What we call the order block. Okay, so now that we have had a change of character, look at, guys, the last strong imbalance candle, which is also known as the strong bearish candle that was formed, right? It leaves an imbalance, and you look at the candlestick that was formed before this strong bearish candle that changed character. We call this an order block. So what you want to do is you mark out this candlestick here, right? You mark it like this, and then wait for price to retest the zone, right? So sometimes you can place your limit order by just placing a sell limit order around this zone here, and then place your stop loss above there. You can target these previous lows here, right? You can target this previous low here, or you can further target, you can get a good risk to reward ratio, but it is safer to target this previous low here, and then you have your entry like that. Okay, because when price, as soon as price taps this zone, is most likely going to drop, because one, we have our confirmations already, we have liquidity that have been cleared, which shows that this liquidity is going to bring momentum or cause momentum for price to move below. We have had the second confirmation, which is a change of character breaking below this zone. So we just want price to retest our level for us to be shorting. All right, so that is basically how we want to expect this. Okay, you can see that. Okay, actually you can see very well we gave this, okay, and you can see that price came and then executed our entry, right? So for transparency's sake, let me show you guys the initial setup and then how we gave it. See that when price came, it got our entry executed, and what happened, price had to move down powerfully. Let me show you guys what we actually gave earlier on the channel, on our free Telegram channel. This is it. Look at it. This is where our sell limit order was. You can see this is the zone that got cleared. You can see we had this to be initial liquidity. Price come, I don't want to make the video too long, and then you can see how it progressed. Price came, entered, and then what happened when it hit, it went straight to our take profit, and that is basically what we have here. This is it. We got the entry like a sniper entry. So this was basically a demonstration that was demonstrating so that you guys can actually understand the concept very well, right? So if you want to join our Telegram channel, it is free, guys. It is free. Just go to our pinned comment below. You are going to see the link to this channel. Just click on the link. It's going to direct you to this Telegram channel where you join free and get free signals, all right, and then also educational content, right? So if you love this video and you want to continue seeing more content like this, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Make sure that you hit on the subscribe button if you are new to the channel, right? Because we have many other strategies, we have many other things that we bring to you guys that you might not be aware if you only stay on the YouTube channel, right? Because at this point in time, you can see we have, if you look at it very well, I don't just want to make this video too long. You see we have the same entry on gold here. So this is the area that we had here. This is the equal lows. We had the liquidity that was cleared here. What happened? We had a change of character, and what happened? Price came back to this zone here. When it came back and mitigated this zone, it got executed, and after that you see how price shot very powerfully. We have the same entry on New Zealand dollar, US dollar, that was just based on this, guys. So I don't want to make the video too long. If you have understood the concept, just try to do a back test of it, right? Try to do a back test. You are going to get, if you look at New Zealand US dollar, you could see the same concept. Look at this equal lows here, right? Rejection, price cleared liquidity. What happened? We had a change of character. Price came back here, executed our entry, and we entered. Normally this trade here, my stop loss, my TP was supposed to be at this high here, okay, but nevertheless you get the concept. When price came and then clear liquidity, you look for a change of character. Now what you look for a change of character, you do that on a smaller time frame, okay, smaller time frame, you identify the order block. This is the order block that identify. This is the last candle that formed imbalance. The last candle that formed the imbalance, and when price comes back here, it gets the price executed. Guys, this is a strategy that you will need. So make sure you do your back testing, do your due diligence, back test on your different instruments that you're trading, right? So thank you so much for watching, guys. Like I said, you can join our Telegram channel. Just click on the link that's in the pinned comment and this video description below to join, so that you don't miss out on anything. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if this is your first time. Also support us by clicking on the thumbs up button, comment and engage, so that our content can also be shared to other traders who can benefit just like you have benefited. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.